So the key to anyone watching start a business is really diversity of services. Don't put all of your eggs into one basket. Don't work in just one industry. And that's the problem I think people get, is they don't realize that the internet changes. Technology, everything's changing like this. Look at AI right now, right? Like everything's changing. How is that going to affect web? How is that going to affect this? You kind of have to be ahead of the curve.
This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day, carefully crafted for you by humans. So meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fully Managed by Penji podcast, the podcast where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you on your business journey. I'm your host, Shannon, Penji's partnership coordinator, and I'm joined here today with a very special guest, Ken Braun, co-founder and chief marketing strategist and brand tender of Lounge Lizard. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Alrighty. Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Hey, Shannon, it's a pleasure. Nice to meet you today.
It's nice to meet you as well. So I've been looking into Lounge Lizard, and I was wondering, well, one, I want you to tell us a little bit about it and like how you started there and everything like that. But I also was wondering what the name came from. That was like my biggest question. So if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So before Lounge Lizard was started by myself and Sharon Sexton Braun, I was working as an art director, heading up the Jose Cuervo account at an agency. One of my favorite jobs, working on liquor advertising. Hey, how fun is that, right, Shannon? Like just doing liquor advertising and stuff like that. So, when the internet kind of came about and all these digital agencies were forming, right? There was Blue Dingo, Blue Marble, Razorfish, right? And so when we were ready to start the company, Sharon and I were like, you know what? We need a great name. And Sharon was like, what was your best job you ever had? I'm like, I was working on Cuervo, and let's start an agency called Lounge Lizard, and maybe we'll get some liquor accounts, right? So it sounds cool, and it kind of aligns with Blue Marble, Blue Dingo, and Razorfish. It's like, Lounge Lizard, right? So it's kind of different. So we went with that. Thank God we went with that, right? We didn't call it like, Braun and Braun or something boring.
Let the law for...
Yeah, we probably wouldn't even have this company 26 years later, right? I'd be, working still in advertising. So that's how the name was started, was really from a past experience, thinking that, hey, we're going to get all these liquor accounts. And since 1998, we haven't gotten any since then. So, that what is kind of funny, right? It's just like, yeah, you named this company Lounge Lizard because you like working on liquor marketing and advertising and design. And you didn't get any accounts, but go figure.
I do. What made me think of the lizard, the specific logo of the lizard made me think of that drink that was out like in the early 2000s. I wish that I could remember the name. I should have looked it up before this. It's like,
which one?
They were like flavored juices in glass bottles, and they had that. I swear, it's like the exact lizard. Like
liquid lizard or something.
I have no idea. I think it's started with an S. I don't know. I'll look into it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that'd be major trademark infringement because I trademarked that thing in '98.
Yeah, you should get out to that. I mean, I think they filed for bankruptcy or something. Anyway, so I haven't seen that juice in a while. So you're doing it better than them.
What will creative drink one day, Shannon? Maybe and I'll have my first beverage account. There you go.
If you can just make your own. I mean, you have all the tools.
Your own, yeah.
There you go. You have everything that gives you the foundation. I'm always wondering why marketing agencies don't do that more often, like create their own thing, because I'm like, oh, well, you have you don't have to pay a marketing agency to help you. That's like, we just have everything.
if you can see my whiteboard right now, I actually, this is a truth. It says Lounge Lizard Hard Seltzer. We actually had that idea of doing that actually. But again, it's like how far spread do you want to be? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Speaking of, I was wondering, so I noticed that you have an extensive list of industries on your website that I assume you worked with all of these before. I was wondering, I talked to a lot of marketing agencies, a lot of digital marketing agencies that discuss this strategy of niching down. And it was interesting to me because I think you're the first one that I've seen that has not done that at all. And I was wondering, like, how this works for you. Like, do you think that it's more beneficial to have as many as, like, it seems possible? It's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, I know. It's like you see our industry list, just like, what have they not worked on? Yeah, just scroll. It's like, you know, they worked on like home security systems. They worked on Colorado rafting adventures. Stas, what is going on here? You know, Dylan's Candy Bar. What is up here? So, you know, I got to tell you, you know, so it's really diverse, our industries, which is really cool because it kind of makes it fun because, you know, you don't get bored if you just do healthcare or you just do, you know, finance. It just kind of happened to be, but I got to tell you, we're mostly B2B. I would say we're mostly B2B. I would say like out of the revenue is probably about 80% is B2B companies, but it's from a diverse set of, you know, different industries. You know, once in a while we get consumer. Right now we're working on a beverage brand, kind of launching a new beverage brand to the world, which is really, really fun because I've done that in the past a lot, working on Ocean Spray and in the past before Lounge Lizard. But yeah, I'd say we kind of are niche, but from a high level category from B to B, right? And I like the diversity of what, you know, we maybe 30 different industries that we have experience in. It just makes it fun. So I kind of like that. I wouldn't really want to focus on just one or two industries. And as creative people, I think we would get totally bored of that for sure.
I do hear like two sides of the coin is like, oh, one, niching down, like you can perfect that category, like you know that you're the best of the best in that specific thing. But then when you are only doing one thing, like say you're like only working with like, I don't know, brokers or something like that, like you're that if that's all you're doing all day every day for years, like you might not be happy. While
some other like development companies, you know, they'll do just like real estate, but they'll have templates, you know, like the real estate templates and stuff like that. And you know, and that's, you know, everything that we do is like so custom. Like people are like, oh, well, what makes you guys special? Like, why are you guys so expensive? Like, well, we're like the Vera Wang of website design, right? It's like, you know, listen, this is not a template. This is custom design. You know, and there is a great market for that. There's a lot of firms making a killing, making millions of dollars doing just real estate, you know, or whatever it might be, and then templating and having thousands of clients, which is awesome. But just it's not our bag. You know, we like just totally custom whiteboard, create the brand, you know, and then develop a website or a marketing campaign or around just uncuffed creativity. Let's call that uncuffed. I don't want to be cuffed. I'm a creative guy, creative company, you know, just creativity wins at the end of the day, I think. And that's what people want. You know, they don't want a boring website because it doesn't like really differentiate, you know?
I agree. I think that that's something that we really value at Penji too, is like our designers, they're catering to you as like, they're not just like, oh, this is my style of how I make things, I'm going to make it this style. It's like, no, it's unique to your brand. Like this is for you, not for like the designer at the end of the day, you know, might not be happy, but if you're happy, then, you know, that's
right.
This is meant for you. This is meant for your brand to flourish and be what you want it to be. So
I noticed that about Penji too, because they're really diverse skill sets and looks and feels and styles. And I noticed that actually on their site. And kudos to you guys.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys too. I also have seen your work and it looks like incredible. So, and I especially love, I know we like briefly talked about this before our call, but I love the theme of your website. I think it's so unique. I have seen an incredible, a mind-numbing amount of marketing websites. And when they stand out, I get very excited because it's like, oh, like this is nice to look at. And if that's something that you do, it's good that your website looks good because then people watch that and they go, oh, you guys can make a nice website.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like the goal, Shannon, was to create not just an agency, but a brand. And there's a difference between, a corporation, it's a corporation, it's an agency, whatever, and an actual brand, right? And that's what I think what we're really most proud of is that we've actually we create a brand. I get emails from people asking for t-shirts and beer mugs. And I'm like, all right, I'll make you one, but
yeah.
You want to be a brand tender? Okay. Here's a brand tender shirt. I'm like,
yeah, it's a fun logo. I mean, like, why wouldn't you want that on a shirt? Awesome. So, can you tell me more about how you've kind of grown to this point? Like, what things do you think led you here? Like, what kind of strategies have you used?
Sure. So I'll tell you about day one, like the absolute day one. It was started in, we officially incorporated in 97, Sharon and I. But in 97, I was just doing this as a freelance gig, at the end of the .com, the .com companies were out. They all needed like really creative, interactive, animated banner ads on the internet. And I was working at an agency called K2, which went public, and I was heading up their banner ad division, I guess, if you want to call it, online advertising. And I come from the ad world. I used to shoot commercials and stuff like that. So I kind of brought that conceptual thinking into banner ads, and we really blew up a lot. And we did very, very well. That's where I was kind of like, hey, no, I can do this myself. I'm going to get some freelance. Why not? I put an ad, $50 a month, $50. Started lounges a month. Text ad on this defunct website now, badontips.com. And it's a professional banner ad designers. And we were there. And my first account, guess where I came from? Guess where? Where did it come from?
Give me a category.
Oh, some other, not United States.
China?
Africa.
Oh, sick.
Cape Town, totally. Yep. Cape Town, South Africa.
Awesome.
There's a company that made online casinos, and they made really creative banner ads to get people to click to go gamble. So they need eye-catching, and I'm a creative guy, and did some wild, and put some examples of creative banner ads up there, and started getting business. And they started sending me more and more and more. And I was like saying to Sharon, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like doing banner ads all night. I'm talking to them in Africa, 2:00 in the morning. I'm commuting to Wall Street from Long Island, doing banner ads on the train. I'm really getting burnt out. And she's like, you know what, why don't you quit? Because, you're always doing the dog and pony, Mad Men, showing ideas for commercials. And I think you'd be a great salesperson. You're just who you are. You're just dynamic. So quit your job. So she's like, oh my God, quit my job. She's like, yeah, quit your job. Just go for it. We'll make it happen. So I started doing it. And she said, make it happen. So I'm like, well, financially, she's like, because Sharon does all the finances and stuff. She's like, do you see how much you're making freelance? Like, you're up to almost 15 grand a month now. Now this is 97. It's 97. So I'm very goal oriented. So I had to say to myself, listen, I need a goal and I want to make $1 million. So when I make $1 million, I'm going to take that logo that you love so much, Shannon, and I'm going to tattoo it on my arm. Okay. So I did. It took a year.
It took incredible.
No, it took a year. Busted my home, got it going, advertised, marketed, started driving the prices up for banner ad design because we were starting to get so well known. Like 98, it was like people oh my God, who are these people? I'm like charging enough for banner ads. So I'm like, I was keep on doubling it and tripling the prices, and people were paying because we were getting larger clients. So that's kind of how it started, and then it was just about hiring people. Listen, I went to the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan, and I didn't even graduate. All right, so just saying, I know how to run a business. Thank God Sharon knows how to run a business because she's more, the Wall Street, very operational. So we just started together, started hiring people, and it grew and grew. And listen, it's not all rosy. It's not all rosy, right? there was a dot-com crash where all the clients also went bye-bye. And we're like, okay, what should we do, right? So I'm not going to tell you this story like, yeah, it's been like this all along, like rocket ship, because that would be a lie. And everyone has ups and downs businesses, right? But the thing is that you have to evolve. So what we learned from the dot-com crash is that we have to be diverse. We have to be diverse in services, right? You talked about even industries. Wow, we have like 50 industries, right? Well, you have to be diverse in services, because now all of a sudden you're just putting all your eggs in one basket doing, banner ads or whatever. So we started branching out into website design and developed in 99, like early days of Flash, like where sites were like animated, it was wild. And then there, let's go into print design in case this whole internet thing bursts again. Let's go to doing print. We started doing some commercials and then all of a sudden mobile apps, like there was this big craze of mobile apps. So learning our lesson of taking a big dip, and in 99 or whatever, we had laid off, maybe in 2000, laid off maybe about half the staff. So the lesson was learned, hey, let's get diverse. These things called mobile apps are out. Let's start developing mobile apps. Let's hire a mobile app developer. So, the key to anyone watching, start a business is really diversity of services. Don't put all of your eggs into one basket. Don't work in just one industry. Don't just do website design. Do SEO. Or if you don't do SEO, find somebody to do SEO that's reliable so you can integrate that service, right? And become more diverse, right? And that's the problem I think people get, is they don't realize that the internet changes. Technology, everything's changing like this. Look at AI right now, right? Like everything's changing. How is that going to affect web? How is that going to affect this? You kind of have to be ahead of the curve. So at the end of the day, the company, to answer your question, it started with a $50 investment and it turned into, 26 years later, a multi-million-dollar company with 6 offices around the country. So, it was grown organically, which I think we're really most proud of, Shannon, is the growth. We have never received an ounce of investment money from anyone outside, and we have zero debt. We grew organically. Could we have been bigger by now? Yeah, sure. It doesn't matter, because all we care about is doing great work.
That's fantastic. I really liked everything that you said about kind of not putting your eggs in one basket. I think that also kind of makes things like what we didn't think about, 5 years ago today, but COVID proof. Like that was a huge thing that I've also been hearing from people, is like your business could be done if one sector is gone, like exactly. So it's like it's important to consider that, like, not only does the internet change, but the world changes constantly, and you can't expect those things.
You can't. And I think anyone watching, this and is thinking about starting a business or has a business, right? And maybe it's not growing or whatever. And not growing is fine too, but at least you're staying in business and you're paying everybody and you're making some profit. Is you really have to read the industry standard magazines. You got to read Forbes, you got to Mashable. You kind of got to know what's going on and what's coming. You have to prepare. Like people that didn't prepare for AI, a lot of copywriters are out of jobs, right? Or as an agency side, maybe, you don't have to, I hate to say it, sometimes, maybe, think about hiring somebody that can be replaced with technology. You should do it, because at the end of the day, you have to be profitable in order to, keep people in business,
Yeah.
Yeah. Big tip right there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that was a struggle for a lot of businesses. Like after COVID had happened, like no one prepared for anything like that. Like rightfully so. I mean, like no one thought it would happen. I mean, it's kind of like the apocalypse. Like, no one expects anything like that to happen, and then it does, and you're like, oh, shit. But so, you have been able to grow organically. Was there any strategy that you used in obtaining clients like earlier on? I'm sure like now maybe it's just like reputability, like people just know about you, but originally how was how is that working?
Originally, it was very aggressive with advertising, to be honest with you. What we do is, anyone listening to, is you want to know what the competition is doing, what other agencies are doing, where they're advertising, what directories, keyword directories they're in, or what websites that they have a free listing on, or do they do press releases. You have to know also where your competition is to make sure that you're there too. And there's a lot of free websites that you can actually, be on. There's sites that if you're a thought leader, like I write for Forbes, so it's just like you could apply to be a Forbes, a Forbes writer, to get that, exposure.
That's really nice. If you're a writer for Forbes, you just like shameless promo. Do you have to put that in there?
We're not allowed to do that, actually, no. And you can't do that. Parents like, no, I have a business. My dad has a business with my parents. Can you talk about it on Forbes on them? No, but yeah, you have to be out there. And SEO, organic SEO. We've been working on our SEO for 25 years. We've been working on it, and it's constantly changing. You never know what Google's going to do. I can't say, you have to be on top of it, because you don't know what they're going to do. But you have to spend a lot of time with organic SEO, and also in AI and ChatGPT. That's another kind of unfound territory of getting business. You have to make sure you're in there and really work with people that know how to optimize it, to change the prompts in order for you to be listed, because it's not perfect yet, AI. So there's some training that needs to happen. And I would say, outbound sales is big. I would never hire like an appointment setter, because they just take your money and they can't really represent your brand very well. I think it's, for anyone out there starting a business, it's, LinkedIn is great. If you're going to contact somebody, don't just be talking about you. Oh, hey, we do this. We do web design. We do digital marketing. We do SEO. It's like, Lily, right? You have to provide value. That's a key word, is providing value. You get business by providing value to someone, to a business, by telling them something that they don't know to help them grow their business. That's the approach that I like to take.
I definitely agree with that. I think people don't want to hear about you if they've never heard about you. They might have a need for it, but they're like, who is this guy? I don't.
There's another email, and we get flooded by them. And AI is taking that over, Shannon, too. Like on LinkedIn or email messages, it's all automated scripts. We're inundated by it. So you have to stand out. I think the way to stand out, for anyone listening to this, is to provide value. Tell them how you'd outgrow their business.
I definitely.
How you do it, and how you gonna do it. How are you going to do it, and bring to their attention maybe something that they're not doing, that their competitors are doing. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's even this sounds maybe rough, but sometimes just finding a flaw in something that you could do for them that they have already. It sounds maybe they don't like to hear that, but they're like, oh, this is something that wasn't from my attention before.
Yes.
So after you gain these customers, what is your strategy for maintaining them, communicating with them, making sure that they're happy throughout the process, but also at the end?
Sure. That's where Sharon, the other co-founder of Lounge Lizard, comes into play. She heads up, she has many hats in the business. She runs the business. So she runs the business, right? So I'm the poster boy of Lounge Lizard, but at the end of the day, Sharon is running the business. So she'll have twice, 3 times a week stand-up meetings with our project management team, which are on the front line of our clients, right? And really, we have such a good client retention rate. I think good because she really instills in all of our project managers, customer service and response time. Response time is huge because, if you don't get back to clients quickly when they post, we have project management systems called Back to Collab. Somebody, is making comments on their project or a task to fill out. If you're not getting back to them, how does that make you feel? Not good. I'm not important, right? And yeah, exactly. And so Sharon really makes sure that all the clients are being taken care of through the project managers. So you have another founder that is really on kind of like in the backgrounds, but is really on top of that to make sure that we retain clients. Because at the end of the day, you work really hard to get a client, right? And it costs money. It's not free. It costs money to get a client. And you want to retain that client. And because at the end of the day, you want what's called LTV, long-term value of a customer. You want a customer forever. And for that customer might leave their marketing director, might leave their job and go someplace that they're going to take you. We just got an account, which is Anderson Consulting, Anderson Tax. And this is like the third round that this marketing director has been with us for like the last 15 years of all of her job takes us, is because we took care of her. We took care of the business. We made her look good, right? So that's really, really key. It is client retention. And what that brings to a business is financial health for reoccurring revenue. I can't stress that more. Reoccurring revenue is absolutely huge. And the value of your company, agency becomes so much higher, the multiple, when you have a higher percentage of reoccurring over project-based business.
Mm-hmm. How do you get that referral for someone else,
Sure. Yeah, sure. So a happy client is, it's a really good question. There's some people that are uncomfortable with it, as far as, but I think if you do a good job for a client, they're going to refer you. And I think too often agencies don't ask. They just don't ask, so, hey, do you know anyone? Or actually, here's a tip. So, and I do this myself, is one of our clients, or I would be like, oh, I see that they were at whatever Random House 5 years ago, a couple of years ago. I'd be like, hey, is there anyone at Random House that you still keep in contact with that you can refer us to? Like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And what I'll do is, and our sales team will do it too, is we'll connect with that person with a little note saying, hey, Pam from XYZ Publishing, told me about you. I would love to connect, right? And they're like, oh, Pam. Oh, wow, great. And now once you have a connection, it kind of breaks the barrier, So the referral could even be like, hey, do you mind if I connect with someone that you worked with at the past job and mention your name? You know what I mean? So that, opposed to, hey, can I get the name and number? I'm going to call somebody. It's just another tactic.
Yeah, it gives you that foot in the door.
Yeah, and you create the connection, and it's an easy way to open up that door versus like calling somebody and they're like, oh my God, I'm being solicited. Who is this? So LinkedIn works. You have to just use it right.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's when I started doing marketing generally, I think LinkedIn was the toughest place for me because I just didn't really know how to navigate it. And I talking to someone to ultimately kind of get things from them feels kind of icky to me, no matter how you put it. I know that, everyone has to make money and we're just like, it's normal outreach strategy. There's nothing really icky about it, but me personally, I don't ever talk to someone, on the day to day to get things from them. So it was just like very much an adjustment. Like, yes, please be a customer. But I think, yeah, there's definitely a way of doing it. There's you have to be personal about it. You have to think of you're not talking about yourself. Like, it's just like, I think it's an adjustment for a lot of people and it can feel awkward.
Yeah. What I find helps too sometimes is humor.
That's what I do if I have to make email templates for my outreach team. They're so funny. They almost seem like a joke. Like, I hope people answer them though, because they're like, oh, I giggled.
Yeah, why not?
It works.
People like to laugh, and once you get a laugh, you get a smile. And once you have a smile, you have a positive feel, for somebody because you made them smile.
My most recent email was something like, oh, you're tired of taking 7 buses and 3 trains to your podcast meetup. How about come on here?
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. It's like, no one takes 7 buses and 3 trains to anything probably. And like, I don't know, unless they're seeing their like long distance partner across the country. But yeah, so incredible. I definitely agree with all of that. I think that there's just like a right way of doing things, and that works. And then like, and you can do the right thing and it still might not work because marketing is kind of a gamble sometimes, but So my last question for you is, so for when you're creating a project and say you're kind of working with your client and you think you're doing all the right things, but the end result is something that they end up not being happy with, how do you kind of deal with that afterwards? What's like your...
Well, I love that. It's a great question. It's a very relevant question. And here's how I'll answer it. When we engage with a project, I really try to educate a client, because I've been doing this for a long time, long time. Okay. Long time. Is when clients judge creative work or whatever you're producing, they can't judge it from their personal perspective. They have to put their brand hat on. That is the number one problem that we run into is, I just don't like it. Like, what do you mean I don't like it? I hate the color blue. I hate the color blue. I don't like it. But like, the blue is a complementary color and it's actually part of your brand style guidelines. Have you read them? It's and listen, we're like ego-free loungers, or like totally ego, like whatever, like totally ego-free. But all I ask is that clients judge from the brand cap on, the brand hat. Okay. Have we come into those problems where, clients are still not satisfied? Of course we have. Of course we have. And then I think at that point, it really comes down to going back to the very first meeting, the workshop. We have a brand strategy workshop where we ask the question, what is your objectives? Who are the target audiences? Who are the personas? What are your KPIs and business success metrics? What's the culture of the company like? We go back to that and we'll revisit the answers that they gave us. That are very strategic questions. They're all to understand their business and their customers and their objectives and goals. And we'll be like, hey, you told us this, and this, and this. What we just produced is on target with that. And like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Like we're strategically done for the brand awareness to get into the funnel of into conversion. And your brand statement is different from competitor A, B, and C. So that maybe that'll work maybe 50% of the time. They're like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, change my mind. So then what about the other ones? They're like, I still don't like it. Right? It's like, and that happens. He was somebody where it's just like, they don't know how to wear the brand hat. Okay, whatever. And they don't like it. Mm-hmm. So they
personally
don't like it, which is the worst thing to ever judge. So like when I'm judging the Webby Awards every year, I don't look at things from a personal perspective, and I'm judging thousands of entries from the Webbies, right? It's okay. Oh, so it's for a rafting company or it's for a biotech company. I'll research who the persona is, the competitors. I'll put my brand hat in for them and judge it from that perspective, right? And that's the best way to do it. So for the really difficult clients, we're like, I still don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. So then, hey, listen, at the end of the day, they're paying the bill. They're paying the bill. So you've done everything that you can from your professional opinion, right? And you gave, hey, reasons of why you did this. You told the client, hey, you can't judge from your own personal perspective from the brand. You've given them data from the brand strategy workshops. They still don't like it. So now it's just like, all right, but at the end of the day, they're a paying customer, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to satisfy, the need. And there's just having an open conversation. I'll ask them, hey, show us some designs or from a website or a marketing campaign that you do like. Show You have to show us. They can't just say, hey, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's like
It's difficult to work with.
it's totally ambiguous. We'll give them, say, listen, we're here for customer satisfaction. You're going to love what we do at the end of the day, but you at least have to put us in the right room of what you like and don't like, right? It's like food. Some people like different foods over others. Like, what don't you like? We find out like, oh, they don't like Indian spices. Like, okay, great. We won't make you a meal with Indian spices. Right, great. So we'll give them the homework, Shannon. Show us what you do like. Correct. Kind of brand messaging you think is appropriate, shows the kind of design style that you like. And then once they come back, then it's like, all right. Then it usually works at 99.99% works out.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, like, it's good that you have kind of a flow around dealing with that, because I think, like, to be able to be like, okay, you have to get out of your own head for this. Because, like, I can understand there's so many industries that are not for me. Like for me as a person, like, I would never be interested in that. And I look at their logo or their brand and I'm like, this is boring. I don't like this. But it's like, for the person that would be interested in that, they would probably be interested in this logo, or this logo would stick out to them, or like they would be comfortable with that brand or going to that brand. And it's like, if a law firm had like a silly little logo, like that was really cool looking, I'd be like, oh, that's a cool logo. I like that. But like, it wouldn't look professional for them. It's like a law firm.
And I'll add on to that too, is sometimes for a designer to work with a client, you're dealing with maybe one or two clients. And I'm sure a lot of people, that are going to be watching this or listening to this can relate to it. You'll find out that the real decision maker has not been part of the process from day one, which is a big problem. And I think, designers or marketing, advertising people, make sure that you're dealing with the actual decision maker. Because a lot of times they're like, we know what Susie wants. Who's the ball? We know what Bob wants. We know, we work with him. Like, oh my God. So down there, they're exhausting all their rounds of revisions. And then they show Susie, the CEO, or Bob, the CEO, or whoever this is, right? Oh, because they weren't a part of the process. Now they want money for more revisions. So I guess a tip there too, if any designers watching this or agency folks, make sure you're dealing with the right decision makers too. Make sure that they're involved, that they see the stuff along the way,
I think that's a great tip. I think that if you're, they might get, maybe they don't have the time to work with you, but, that person, but, they at least should be like regularly updated on the process so that they're not just disappointed at the end because they didn't have enough input.
Exactly.
I think that's just very sound advice. Super. Awesome. Okay, well, this has been incredible. I think I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jen.
This has been incredible. And thank you for coming on the Fully Managed podcast.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest. And to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend and, of course, subscribe.